cuts the ban so they don't have a chance to sling themselves back in. And CLG
Then you hit yourself in the eye.
didn't quite get an opportunity to answer back in Phoenix 1 didn't get an opportunity to answer back in game number 2. But as you can see, we've entered into picks and bans for game number 3 between CLG and Phoenix 1. Shen, Lissandra, Twisted Fate banned away. 1 top, 2 mid, along with Azir, Ryze, and Vladimir. And immediately, Xmithie goes straight for that Rek'Sai.
Yep, wasn't first pick last time. It was the Karma first pick for CLG the previous time that they were blue side. The bans then were Shen, Lissandra, and Ashe, and then Azir, Ryze, and Vladimir. So, the only thing that's left up is that Twisted Fate. P1 on red side, they could go back to the Twisted Fate like they did in game 1, but it'll be way further down in the draft. But they're going to take the Karma for now. Flex pick, sometimes it goes to Pirean, and sometimes it goes to Mash, but we will see. Because right now, it's takeaway from CLG, so Aphromoo doesn't have that.
Yeah, that Elise locked in as well for... Do my eyes deceive me?
No, it's Inori in the lobby. It's not Sentinel.
I'm looking down there. It actually is Inori, yes. Yes, and in our Champ Select, it is in fact Inori. So a little bit of bug with the labeling, but don't let that fool you, everyone. That's Inori, the jungler for Phoenix 1 still. No swaps going out.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even here.
Yeah.
Like, Sentinel had to fly back home.
Exactly.
So,
but going back to that Elise, when he doesn't play the Hecarim or the Olaf, he has returned to that Elise and Rek'Sai, and with Rek'Sai off the table, goes back for that standard jungler. However, CLG, they're going to get the opportunity to look back at that Sivir that Stixxay had a pretty good performance despite being picked on in the early game.
Yeah, and CLG, they're just really good at rotating, so why not just give yourself the ability to rotate even faster? If you are identifying that there's a rotation available half a second earlier, and then it's all about travel time, well, boom. You get there much faster than them, and it looks like this gigantic gap where P1 just looked lost. And that's what they're going for here, because P1 have drafted more of a pick comp here.
Yeah.
With the Karma, with the Elise, Cocoon, and the follow-up from the Arrow. So P1 have a lot of ways to start fights, and it was talked about on the desk where they need a lot of go buttons, like everybody to press them, so that the team fight is going to start, and they just have to draft either a support or mid laner to round out this composition.
Yeah, this is exactly, as you said, what Crumbs was talking about. Give yourselves clear ways to engage with the enemy team, clear ways to force these fights in your favor. Ashe is how Mash is going to do it this time, and more importantly, while he's split pushing, he can still have global presence on the map by firing that arrow. So we'll see if CLG will have the reflexes to dodge it. Sivir, of course, able to spell shield. But getting to those final picks, it's Aurelia and Cassiopeia locked in for Huhi. Last time we saw him take it, he made a couple of questionable choices. Let's hope he can recover this time.
Yeah, it's a low mobility, high damage dealing mid laner here for Huhi. And if he gets hit by an arrow, he's probably going to take that cleanse because Cocoon, arrow, all these things can really mess him up. But if you draft a mid laner for yourself here, trying to think, like, if you do know how to play Talia, you can really wreck Cassiopeia. Also, the option that she shouldn't have access to early boots, so if you buy early Swifties, she is way slower than you. But it could just be, yep.
Yeah, final pick is Gate. Braum locked in, so they are just going to stick with that Karma flex pick in the mid lane. Pirean taking a bit of a utility role. Previously, he played Twisted Fate and Azir. So we haven't seen him play utility in a couple of games.
Yeah, and that means that Pirean he isn't going to have that same type of pressure that he had in the previous 2 games. We'll see what he does on this. I'll be interested to see what his build is. People have been favoring the Athenes and the Ardent Censer.
Yeah.
But there are still alternate builds out there. We've seen people still go for things like Ludens, CDR early.
So Phoenix 1 placing all of their eggs in the layer CC and get pick basket.
Yep, it's the pick potential. You have a 4-man unit. If Zig gets ahead and he's able to bully out Darshan, then he's good. Having a Cassiopeia alongside a Sivir and Bard, incredibly potent. Sivir combined with Cassiopeia, or even a Karma combined with Cassiopeia, is just, she has so much ability to increase her movement speed that she becomes a force to be reckoned with. And she doesn't have a gap closer, but at that point she does.
effectively being able to chase into the enemy team. But we are about to decide the match in this game 3. Show off your smarts and predict the winner on Twitter. Use hashtag CLGwin or hashtag P1win as the teams load onto the Rift and get ready for this game 3, this ace match between Counter Logic Gaming and Phoenix One. Teams now racing out of base. Phoenix One currently on a 2-match winning streak, looking for that 3rd win to try to head towards that final playoff spot. But pressure is mounting, and they're going to have to be able to beat out CLG here to be able to do it. And CLG is one of the teams competing for that playoff spot.
Yeah, haven't secured their own. Coming back from MSI and doing better than any North American team had ever done internationally in a Riot tournament. High expectations for CLG, but now they're underdogs again. I mean, I guess CLG's at full power when they're underdogs, though.
It's our doubt that fuels them.
It's weird, because as soon as everybody starts believing they'll do well, it's Counter Logic, and they start doing very poorly. And then when you think they're doing poorly, then they just turn it around.
Staying true to their name. Counter Logic Gaming. Having a competitive series with Phoenix One here in this game 3. Hoping to show that they can take these wins and advance closer towards that final playoff spot. I say final. There are a handful, as those middle of the pack teams are actually packed rather close.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple still up for grabs, of course.
But now, taking a look at this game right here, 2 minutes in, we are seeing a lane swap initiated by Phoenix One. And CLG look to do the same. They're
Gate's going to check if they're going to catch him out.
Oh, he's stunned up against the wall. Exhaust is dropped as well. They're going to try to burn through his health. He's healing. He's still got flash. There's a long way for him to go. Mash will be able to land the slow. They're still chasing. First blood, Stixxay, heal. Wasted by Mash as well.
The flash point blank Q to reset. That was sick. Right in front of his face. That's just instant burst damage there. Didn't even use like an auto attack reset like W. It's just boom, boom. And the fact that the Q made contact with his model immediately. And then really well played there. That was sneaky.
No, that's Stixxay.
No, it's sneaky.
Darshan is going to chase onto Zig now. Level 2 means he can get a pretty favorable trade, but Zig, confident in his turret range, will be able to trade back. Double hunting, corrupting potion for Darshan heals him back up.
Yep, and you got to be confident now if you're CLG. Your early game just, once again, back in your favor. CLG game 1 also got first blood onto, I believe it was I'm sorry, different series, but hold on.
Xmithie once again, exactly at the 2 minute 50 second mark, ganks mid. Inori now roaming bottom. Darshan's got flash. Zig, oh, he's got mega. But Cocoon hits. Oh, they flash forward. They're going to try to chase him down. Do they have enough damage? Phoenix One answer back with a kill of their own.
And Zig does not go down there, but recognize that he doesn't have red buff. Xmithie goes to the other side of the map, tries to capitalize on that, tries to get something back here.
Trying to make something for nothing. Xmithie will be able to secure this. Darshan actually teleports right back in.
It's a gigantic wave. He can't miss it, and Zig is going to hang out.
Experience.
Well...
Oh, Huhi's actually roaming towards the top. There is a ward just over the wall.
Man, roam. Zig has to back. Zig has TP. He has to use it right now.
Pirean has there. He's right teleporting up. Gate's trying to block some of these, and immediately there's a magical journey teleport. Oh, Zig actually teleported bottom. Ooh. They're diving on the Darshan. Stun means he's got to repel and reset aggro. Inori. Woo!
A lot of damage.
They're diving top once again. The teleport was canceled, and they follow up with the next wave. Stixxay did trade his life over for Mash, but Gate's still there. Xmithie's thinking about it.
Yeah, nobody had tagged Gate first, so if he had autoed there, he was dead man.
Yeah.
But they kill off the 80 carry again, so Mash struggling in the CS department, whereas Stixxay, once again, has both kills, so he's able to pick up a BF sword, and now Mash has a cull in boots, and way less damage.
Somebody got caught window shopping. Aphromoo will finally be able to get out of this, but so far this game has been blow for blow. 4 minutes, kill for kill, and then another trade. And it's dead even, about 500 gold lead for CLG. Very, very close.
Yeah, and now you lane swap. Make sure that your 80 carry with your cull goes into a lane. They said, okay, let's get him some free farm. has to cancel the TP because otherwise he would have 3 people run mid and then he wouldn't have a way back. But because he canceled it, 4 show up. Huhi has no mana left. Gets the last little blow there, and Stixxay gets the kill. Has to blow his heal too.
Yeah, Stixxay taking turret aggro for the first auto. Not quite right.
Yep, not ideal, but it happens. He ends up going for his second kill and dies as well.
He is able to open the game with a BF sword, though, and Mash on the opposite side of the map started with a Cull and Boots.
Yeah, he started with the Doran's Blade on both sides, and then he picked up the Cull because he's like, all right, screw this. We're going to swap. I'm going back down bottom. Let's make it be the lane swap just later on in the game. And that's what the Cull is going to help him out with, is get that burst of gold later.
This sets up a bit of a scary situation for Phoenix One, because whenever Mash gets in this sort of mindset, sometimes he gets in his own head. He'll end up split pushing most of the game, saying, I have to get up, I have to catch up in CS. CLG, they just might be able to take advantage off of this as they shove and try to take down that top tier 1, even giving over that solo experience to Darshan.
Oh yeah, Darshan also up 10 CS right now. Zig not in the bottom side of the map, getting experience. I mean, that's supposed to be the top laner's territory. After the lane swap, you're supposed to be able to pick up some solo experience, and that's the beauty of it. But Zig now 2 levels down. Pretty much 1 level, actually, because he's very close to hitting 4. And Aphromoo is just chilling here.
The hat is backwards, Zyrene. He has turned it around. Toothpick ready. Zyrene is trying to go... Aphromoo is trying to go hard this game.
What am I trying to do?
Trying to go hard.
Okay.
Win the game. Let's go.
Let's go. But that's why I'm not a player, because I can't.
Alrighty, 6.5 minutes in. CLG lead by 800 gold, slowly increasing that advantage by denying Zig in the top lane and trying to split some of that gold. Oh, flash from Huhi to get the way.
Yeah, Zig is kind of getting left out to dry here. That wave is not going to get much better for him. I'm going to go check up on it real quick. So Darshan's pushing it forward, but this is a cannon minion coming up, and this is a freeze towards CLG. Like, Zig's not going to get anything for a good while here. Jungler on the opposite side of the map. Like, this feels awful as a top laner. Like, normally you're supposed to be on the other side of the map after the lane swap. Unlucky?
We've seen Zig on Gnar play for the team before, so just having to bite the bullet here and really take the loss, that's got to feel pretty bad.
Yeah, it didn't end up the way that Darshan could have made it happen, but it's going to be pushing out eventually back towards CLG, but it's just a big enough wave now because Darshan was throwing a bunch of autos and actually picking stuff up instead of true freezing it.
Eventually he will be able to catch some of those minions, but for now he's 2 levels down, about 30 behind. CLG try to invade the blue buff knowing they've got pressure in the bottom lane. Xmithie even going to smite, but Inori tries to punish him. But there's not quite a fast enough response from the rest of Phoenix One. The blue gets stolen. There's nothing that they can do. Yeah,
I actually think if you flat out fight here on the bottom side of the map, that is way in favor of CLG, because if both top laners TP, Zig was level 4, Darshan level 6, and this top lane wave would be missed out on. As soon as he leaves turret range, he's just going to get jumped on. He doesn't even have jungler there. He's going to try to slow him and try to combo this chase down. If he gets the hyper off, no. It's not fast enough.
Still a few seconds before Darshan can leap back in. Arrow onto Xmithie as he's going to zone and dive bottom onto Phoenix One. Gate, unbreakable, blocks a lot. Xmithie's stunned, but takes the journey far, far to safety. Very scenic journey.
Yeah. Darshan warding over the wall as well on the top side to check out if the Elise is nearby, and Inori was on that top side picking up his red buff, just clearing out that side of the map. So full knowledge here of where the members of P1 are, and that's going to give CLG this bottom turret.
Yeah, they continue to pressure that bottom tier 1 and take that turret. That's going to be a 2,000 gold lead for Counter Logic Gaming 9 minutes in as they clear that out. And Phoenix One, despite having defensive wards, despite trying to play the same early game that they played in the previous 2 games, aren't getting the opportunity to. CLG are just being so insistent with this pressure.
Yeah, they've won every early game so far off of just taking turrets and structures. And they make it look rather easy to take these turrets from P1 because they're just exploiting the pre-team fight phase, and it's one of P1's weakest points because you have to be able to communicate with your jungler where you need him, where he needs to be, where you need to be, And why, honestly? Because it's like, oh, this is a freeze top, or he's pushing down a long lane, and Elise isn't here. Like, that top lane could have been Darshan pushing past his halfway point, and nobody on his team can join him because there's no teleports or anything. So it's really a lack of execution on these lack of communication and lack of seeing the opportunities.
Darshan with the best feeling wave clear.
And I think you wait for Braum. You wait for Braum. Wait for Braum.
Gates up there as well. There they go. Flash. Oh, the cocoon misses. Tempered Fate, Pirean flashes as well, so CLG immediately react in another lane, setting up a play of their own, but now they see Inori on the top side, and that's a Mountain Drake.
Yeah, Mountain Drake for CLG, most likely here. But this top turret finally going to equalize them. If you want to look to take this one down.
Yep.
And zone Darshan off of some creeps.
Ash and Pirean are actually sharing CS in the mid lane right now. That's even more of a deficit to Phoenix One, trying to defend against Huhi's pressure on this Cassiopeia. And still, CLG one full step ahead, not only taking that turret, but also taking that Drake. And, oh, Zig finally going to be able to try to deny this.
Mash is just looking for an arrow. Mash is trying to get an arrow to hit Huhi. Because if he cleanses the arrow, you're still probably going to get the follow-up of the Karma W. But he's chilling, hanging out in the hanging out on the side, clearing out vision. Acting all cool and all.
Rift Herald is up. They could try to look to take this. Aphromoos over there as well. Darshan does have his teleport, so we could try to leap across the map. But instead, they just try to commit to the swap. Xmithie, oop, there's a ward there. Oh, yeah. He's still going to go in, though.
As Rek'Sai, you're not always privy to that knowledge. And nice little juke there for Pirean, but it's not nice enough.
Yeah, that debilitating poison. And the sad arrow.
Sad arrow.
In memoriam, shots fired. But now CLG are going to pressure this mid lane. They managed to catch Gate. Holy cow. They destroy him.
Yeah. Huhi's doing really well right now against Pirean. Got an advantage. Had people show up to the mid lane and start camping for him. And this is why it's such a mid lane focused meta. Because you can see how much damage he can do on this champion. Like, these mid laners are really stacked in terms of how much damage they do at all stages of the game.
Continuing to press forward, and Inori gets carved up as well. CLG. They want their cake. They want to win this game.
Huhi's doing a really good job of also landing those poisons, landing the miasma so they can't flash away with the grounded mechanic.
Oh, Pirean steps forward to dodge that Tempered Fate, able to avoid that one. But CLG take 2 turrets, and in their most convincing lead yet, 13 minutes in, they've got a 4,500 gold lead.
Yeah, very quick. It's 13 minutes in, like you said. This is insane. Like, they're just taking over this early game. They got that. It is just from pretty much level 1 as well.
Yeah.
I loved how Aphromoo was just sitting there by that blue buff, and he set it up.
Yep.
Right? Knew the gate was going to walk up. Mash ditched it and walked away because it's the standard thing to do. But CLG have always done this, even last split and the split before that. When there's a really common level 1 that happens, they find the counter to it. They find what nobody else has done and try to pick up a kill through it. I remember when it was like Double Lift Callista cutting the minion wave in a lane swap.
Yeah.
Which is really strange to do, and you think it's really risky, but if everybody's playing standard and then you do that, then you get away with it.
It ends up denying quite a lot.
Yeah.
CLG very decisive in this game.
Pirean.
Going to try to collapse onto Pirean again. The Void Rush. From 3 directions, they collapse onto him. He still has no flash. Another kill for Huhi. 2-0 and 3. Xmithie is going to head off Inori at the pass, but red buff means he can repel to safety.
Yeah, he's going to try to start it up as well, but all of CLG are collapsing up here. Darshan
collapses, yeah.
Is the only one left out.
CLG making the very aggressive calls that they've sort of been missing. He's going to try to find Zig solo. Lead forward, gets the stun over the wall. He's got flash, but decides not to chase despite having vision.
Yeah, Darshan actually his flash is a little bit off, and it's almost up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's okay. the top of it is a little bit the same color anyway. It's not like completely grayed out, right? Like, yeah, it's weird, but also
house.
Gate is dead. Areno.
Yes, so is Inori, and
Maybe
ooh, Mash gets slowed. There's the boomerang, debilitating poison. Xmithie gets another kill. CLG are slaughtering Phoenix One. This is what CLG fans were hoping for. Whoa, Darshan tries to 1v1, but it's a 1v2.
It's the worst 1v1 I've ever seen of all time. All time. But yes, going back to that, Gate walks forward. It looks like a bait, but whoa, everybody's there. Arrow comes out, doesn't matter. And then they're all over the place to going after the support. Mash wasn't really on the follow, or on the immediate engage. And it's an Ashe as well. Like, he throws the hawk shot at them. I had this the entire time. It's like,
I'll have you know I could have scouted that bush.
I could have done it. I could have done it.
Mind games from Phoenix One, but it's 16 minutes in. That's a 6,000 gold lead. It keeps getting bigger and bigger as CLG are taking this game and running with it. Now looking to secure Rift Herald. And Phoenix One are just falling further and further behind. They're trying to make the decisive plays, but CLG, they figured it out. They figured out Phoenix One's formula and are answering appropriately.
Yeah, they've been able to own the early game every game, mostly off the back of where Xmithie's ganking, and also Aphromoo doing a really good job of these rotations. And the Bard, combined with the Sivir, just gives them so much power to do so and get around the map. And they did it last game, and it was the winning formula. Now they're going to go back to top lane, scene of the crime.
Oh, another one. The Cocoon is going to hit Aphromoo. He goes down, shut down. He had 3 kills. However, Huhi catches up, targets Mash, and Huhi slices through Phoenix One. Xmithie, despite being at 400 health, chases forward, gets a good knockup. Cocoon finds Stixxay, Zig kiting on the far side. Phoenix One trying to outplay this. There's the debilitating poison. Pirean's going to take a lot of damage, but slow means Huhi can't chase. Darshan on the side finds Inori. And CLG trade 2 for 1 and back off.
There's just so much damage from CLG. You have Stixxay with the early Infinity Edge, and they didn't buy like a Zeal item earlier. So every time he crits, you just see it devastate them.
Stixxay trying to recall on a ward. Gets basically handed over to Phoenix One.
Can they do this?
Yeah, they got to be careful of
Here comes Pirean.
Teleport for Darshan to collapse onto Inori. Pirean teleports in. He's still got no health and no mana. Zig dueling it out with Huhi on the bottom. Slams him against the wall, but now he's got nothing else. Darshan trying to get in. He's going to land the slow. Will he go down? Yes, Mash gets him over the wall. A CLG Gate out, biting off a little bit more than they can chew.
Yeah, and that's what happened last time as well, is P1. They get you on the backs. You think you're safe. You're like, we won the fight. And it's like, nope. By the way, we're still around. And then they use TP to get in. Pirean gets the heal off with his Athenes.
Yeah, Pirean teleported in with like 700 health.
Yeah, he's basically like, I'm here for the heal. Cocoon hits Aphromoo. Perfect pickup there. But this right here hits Gate. Xmithie comes over the wall, gets the knock-up onto Mash. Mash can't do anything, doesn't even have flash. They all come over the side, and then Stixxay just does so much damage, but Huhi as well. The change is Cassiopeia, making it so that you don't even need to land your Q. You just press E very, very rapidly. It does more damage when you land your Q.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just always a...
more than twice as much damage if the target is poisoned.
Yeah, it's just a fraction of a cooldown, a fraction of a second in cooldown at all times.
0.9 second base, 40% cooldown reduction, about to 0.6. But that's CLG now securing the second Drake, Ocean Drake, 18 minutes and 45 seconds in. Next one will be another Mountain Drake. CLG trying to control these neutral objectives as Darshan says, 1v1 me, bro. We didn't get to 1v1 last time because you brought in help. And he's doing it again.
He's like, all right, 1v1, 1v1. All right, I see it. I'm almost changing. Darshan better be keen to this. He's
like,
already
why
back
would
away.
the
Gnar walk back up
at half health?
And after he flashed, too.
Yeah, we've seen teams trade like this before to try to trick Darshan into picking up a few kills. Envy did it yesterday. But CLG are able to respond appropriately and use Darshan's aggression to pressure that bottom tier 2 and secure it for themselves. 5 turrets to 2, back to a 6,000 gold lead despite all of those kills from Phoenix One.
Yeah, seems kind of familiar. Seems like the last game, or even the game before that.
Tempered fate. CLG want to fight, but they find 4, a little bit more.
Yeah, it's just on Zig. I feel like you don't take it at. Darshan doesn't have teleport either, so you'd be picking a 5-on-4, like you said.
Not quite a desirable fight. As Zig trying to keep pace with Darshan. He's going to continue farming up, down about 30 CS right now. Inori down 40. Mash is down only about 15, but a lot of kills on the Stixxay gives him more than an ample gold advantage. As CLG, they're priming, they're looking for fights, looking for picks.
And what I really like about CLG's comp in this game is, sure, they can go for those picks, but they can also beat P1 at their own game because it's a better team fighting composition.
Yeah.
P1, their team fight is really Zig and a little bit of Gate. Everything else is, you know, Runan's Hurricane on Ashe, and then it's all pick. All of their CC is really pick potential. Like, you're just looking to catch somebody out, deny vision. And if CLG just want to group up as 5 or have the 4-1 split push happen and then TP in, like, you're just going to get beaten. But P1 have shown that they love the team fight. Like, that's how they win the game, is they team fight you, and they win at that. And so CLG just picked a better comp to do the same thing that P1 is trying to do stylistically. But there's the pick.
There's the pick. They start stacking the CC. Do they have enough damage? Afro flashes and journeys to safety. Xmithie, though,
Yeah.
he takes a lot as well. Inori chases. He doesn't even go through the journey. Oh, red buff burning, but the exhaust is not enough. Huhi and Stixxay are able to pick up the kill, continuing to chase now onto Inori. What a crit. Double kill. 3 members, Phoenix 1 dead.
Yeah, Phoenix 1 tried to start that off with the arrow and the pick. You need to get somebody very quickly. You saw their damage output. They weren't able to kill Aphromoo, and then they all went on to Xmithie, and they weren't able to kill him either. And this might be Pirean for CLG, and they're going to try to rip the game wide open.
Yeah, there's no smite. This is the play that cost Phoenix 1 the game in the previous one. Tempered Fate, zone smash away. He tosses out the arrows, but it's not enough. CLG secure the Baron.
And CLG, they want to put the stamp on this game and say, you know what, that first one didn't mean anything. They don't even kill him. The support utility mid laner, Karma, and then the triple petrifying gaze. We had to watch Inori go down there and try to attempt to get those kills when the action was happening.
Yeah.
But then Stixxay and Huhi out of nowhere.
Layer it up and show that they can do the damage. Huhi, that's the Cassiopeia that he wanted to play yesterday, not the face-checking a bush with 3 people in it.
When you face check it, then you stun them all, right?
Well, that was the idea.
That's the plan. Doesn't always go as planned.
Yeah. 22 and a half minutes in, CLG 9,000 gold ahead of Phoenix 1 with Baron buff. In all 3 games, they've controlled the early game. This time looks to be their smoothest rendition yet. But they're now pressuring that top tier 2 turret while Darshan pressures bottom. Phoenix 1, will they be able to defend long enough to hold out for the late game?
The late game is getting further and further away from them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when do we hit late game? I guess it's when we both have 6 items, because CLG are 10k up at 23 minutes. Astronomical amounts of gold in terms of an advantage. And Zig, you can't fight this.
Darshan's healing up. The wall up the wrong way, but still inside of the hitbox. Wait, Darshan's not done! That sends a message, if anything ever does, and CLG chase forward. Pirean forced to flash back, but Darshan!
Goes for the stun.
He's going to end up going down and lands the stun. Mash gets a kill, but that's 3 members of Phoenix 1 dead. 4 people of CLG are still up. They're going to clear out this inhibitor. They've got minions.
They're going to keep going. I think they're going to get damage onto this turret and try to close it out.
Oh, Tempered Fate, Repel dodges. Xmithie is going to land. There's nowhere for Inori to go, but the target is Gate, the bait himself. And are they going to burn through an ace for CLG? They're on the Nexus turret, and they're looking to take the game before anyone can respawn. This is what CLG were hoping for. The commanding win. 24 minutes, as you said, they are going to take the Nexus and take the victory over Phoenix 1.
And